Just kidding. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Survivor Savant podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Newport, the self-proclaimed Survivor Savant himself. And today we are going to be talking about the episode of Survivor Marquesas, episode 3, No Pain, No Gain. This challenge, not this challenge, but this episode. I don't know why I was going to talk like Jeff. This challenge is all about endurance, and you gotta dig deep! No. But no, seriously. This challenge is all about, I did it again, you see? I can't help it. Try to channel that inner Jeff in me, Try to be the best host I can for this podcast. So, this episode, not challenge, episode, is all about trying to find, common ground and tribe unity, while also having to deal with natural elements that could inflict in your current camp life, whether it be rain or animals or even in bamboo that can all of a sudden land on your foot. I'll get into more of that in a bit though. But last episode, we got last episode, we talked about work ethic and how we find common ground and find what's most important and how to connect with people if you're playing a game or just in regular life in general. This episode, it's all about dealing with attitudes and also what to do if you were to survive out there in the island as they are. So we get back from for Mariamu, when we get back from tribal council, we see that they're having a talk about why things went down as they did, why they voted for this person, and then how could we avoid going back to tribal council again. So in this case, last episode, Hunter and Gina voted for Sarah because Sarah was seen as somebody who wasn't really doing a lot of work in the camp. And Sarah kind of fights back on him on this by saying, I would have done work if you guys had told me you'd do it. But the one thing that did kind of set Gina off on why she voted for Sarah was because she said that she was wanting to conserve her energy, and that just kind of set her off. But Sarah again fought back by saying she was conserving energy for the team so that they'd be much better suited for the challenges. And then Hunter's trying to tell her to not be paranoid about it, and Sarah's like, apparently I have to be. And it just kept going on and off about it. And Vesepia V was pretty adamant about trying to get all this drama or stress off her shoulders, because this is just too much drama for this tribe, as she says. And the more they're going to start arguing and the more they start having conflicts with each other, the less they're going to have a chance of winning the next challenge. And right now, they're down by 3 losses. And they cannot afford another loss. And if this keeps on continuing, then there's no shot in the world that any one of them could be seen as the winner for this season. There's no shot. So they gotta get their act together, otherwise it's just gonna keep going downhill from here on this island. Which I can agree with. And Sean also says that I know Hunter was telling he asked Sean to go get the water for him, even though he look a little frustrated. Sean Sean is not offended at all by Hunter because of him being bossy. I mean, he said that hey, he would go do it, and he would, but he just feels like hey, he's not being the way that he's talking to people was because he was being condescending and he's not showing any respect towards them. And Gina, on the other hand, was like hearing Sean's point of view and Sarah's point of view. She's like, Sarah and Sean, they just don't like being talked to, and they just want, and for some weird reason, and they want to hear more communication from us as far as work goes. And I'm like, well, how else do you want me to tell you we need to get stuff done? Do you want me to telepathically tell it to you? Because I don't know what else to do. Like, I don't know what else to do other than just tell you what needs to get done, even though you don't be told what to do. Like, it's hard. It really is hard. But I know after that, it would be hard to get along just because you feel like you're not gelling well with each other, as I would say. You're not gelling well with your castmates, or you're not feeling like you're being shown any respect by anybody. If you want to be shown respect, just do what needs to get done without being told to do it. Like, don't get constantly annoyed because you're being told that stuff needs to get done when you don't want to do it. Like, it has to be on like that. Like, you have to learn that on your own. Like, if something needs to get done, just do it, and don't have anybody tell you that it needs to get done, because it's just gonna come back and just bite you and just really get on people's nerves. And as much as I can say, this tribe has a lot of problems, and they are probably not the best tribe who anybody can get along with, with the individual personalities that they got over there. They still felt like having this like little debrief was something that could really help them out, because now it's out in the open on what they need to fix and what they need to work on, and hopefully by tomorrow we could really regroup and really get what needs to be done. And I could honestly say, it's for the best. I mean, if there's any way you can find some kind of unity amongst each other after having that group discussion, then it's pretty evident that you could probably be a stronger tribe from here on out. Over on Road 2, so we didn't get to see this a lot that much in the episode, but apparently it rained pretty bad last night. Not just on Maramu, but also at Road 2. And, they have a good shelter built. Unfortunately, they did suffer a little few leaks, and because of the wind blowing through with the rain, there was like 2 open spaces where the wind can easily just like be blowing in and out, and it was pretty cold last night, and they didn't have any blankets, which I can honestly say is probably hard to get over and probably difficult to deal with, temperature and wise. As far as how to deal with warmth and trying to stay warm during the nights, I mean, there's 2 ways to go about it. One is to wear like I got going on here, a hoodie, something that can give you a lot of warmth, so that way you can't be cold at nights. Another thing is that we've seen in some cases is throughout Survivor history is just to like body warmth. I don't know. It's uncomfortable to say, but it's one of the common facts that can help out in camp life if you're dealing with a lot of cold nights, is to like get closer to each other just so we can keep each other warm at night. And as much as it can be a little unnerving and a little bit uncomfortable, I know there's been cases where there have been contestants who are not comfortable with people touching each other, and it's I don't want to get further into that, but there's ways to go about it if you're really cold at nights, and unless you got some blankets, you're probably gonna have a hard time staying warm. But Rotu caught wind of this, and it's pretty harsh. I mean, not that they started griping at each other after that, but they saw what had to be done, how to make their camp life better. So they started repairing the leaks on their shelter, and also they came up with this idea to get some palm fronds to cover one side of the shelter, so that way no wind could be coming in through the shelter or as they're sleeping, which is great. Less wind coming through by blocking out, the better you can have of staying warm. And throughout this transition of getting the shelter more properly built up, Gabe is starting to take notice that Kathy is gelling pretty well with the tribe now after her last episode. She's more calm now, she's more fluent, and really getting in good vibes from the tribe. And that's what Kathy's strategy is now going into this game. She's kind of going with the flow in a way, make sure that she gels well with the tribe and they can gel well with her, which I can get with. As long as you're not offending anybody in any way or doing something that could really tick them off, then I'd say you're doing good. I mean, you want to be yourself, but you can't be too much of yourself, because that could probably be one of those cases where that can get you voted out easily because you're too much of yourself. You're too much to deal with, So, be yourself, just tone it down a little bit, So, while they're helping out while the shelter was being built, because of the rain and how cold it was, some of their clothes got wet, whether it be socks or pants and shoes. I know Nalia had a couple of socks that were damp, and she'd take them over to her fire to get them dry. But as they were drying, a couple of socks caught on fire, and Pascal was trying his best to shake out the socks so the flame could go away and be put out. But now Nalia says that she's gonna have cold feet at night, which is not gonna be good, especially with those socks. I mean, hopefully she has another pair that she could wear, but nobody wants cold feet on Survivor. We then start to see a little bond forming with Nalia and Pascal, a father-daughter bond, and I'm like, oh boy, Roger and Elizabeth 2.0. Pascal has a nickname called Pappy, and he's about everybody's Pappy, but I don't know. I could definitely see that. I definitely see that being another Roger and Elizabeth moment from Survivor, the Australian Outback, now on Survivor Marquesas, and start to see it form with Nalia and Pascal, which is cute. It's nice to see that duo. Now, there was one incident where, so John, he had the fishing gear, and he was going out to see if he could catch something for the tribe, so he can still keep the role of provider. But during that, his left hand accidentally he hit some sea urchins, and he got about 12 spines in his fingers, which was bad. And he was really in a lot of pain, and he was trying to ask somebody to see if he could get somebody to pee on it, because as much it is gross to hear this. It is a common medical fact that if you are stung by something in the ocean, the only way to like make it hurt less is if you can get somebody to urinate on it, which is, yes, a gross medical fact, but it does help out. And John knows this, being a registered nurse. So Pascal tried to hurry over and help with him. He couldn't. He didn't have enough fluid in him. Then Kathy came over. Yeah, when this happened, it was pretty awkward between John and Kathy, but Kathy was there to help, and she did, and everything went okay, and Kathy, after that, she did feel embarrassed after that, but, she was there to help, and she was glad to help. Not gonna lie, though, if I were in a situation where I got stung by something, like a sea urchin or a stingray or a jellyfish that hit my hand, and, okay, I know, alright, I don't know if it works in that scenario, but I think there's only two options when you're dealing with that kind of thing. One, obviously, get some, urinate on it, and two, you could also soak it in hot water. If I had to choose between one of those choices, it would seem selfish, but I know we could just wash it out later. I would much rather take hot water than deal with urine. I think I would take hot water over urine any day. But anyway, that's just me. If I were in that scenario, I would take hot water over urine if I was stung by a sea creature any day. But anyway, moving on over to Maramu. Now, it's once again the morning show over at Maramu, with Sean being the host and Hunter being the weatherman, and telling you about how the rain and the how the weather was rough last night, and then Boston Rob was telling us about the no-nos at the Marquesas. The no-no is a really small, like, insect or bug, and they're not deadly or anything, but they do hurt a lot if they bite you. And as we see them talking about the no-no, they're like constantly, they got bites all over the place. Like, some of them got bites on their arms, bites on their legs, and oh man, and it was constantly itchy. Like, I can just see myself itching after that. Like, oh boy. I mean, they're worse than mosquitoes, as Rob would say. They're so much worse than mosquitoes, and I would hate to be the people who I would hate to be one of those people who have to deal with that. But luckily, as far as I've heard, there are no no-nos on Fiji, so maybe I'll be safe with that. But I could possibly jinx myself by saying that. Who knows? Then Vesepia is acting as the phone call lady who's getting calls on air and trying to answer them. Vesepia got a phone call from Hunter, and she was asking, how many black no-nos and how many white no-nos have you been bitten by? Because apparently there are black and white no-nos. And Hunter was like, well, I've been mostly bitten by a lot of black ones, and I haven't seen a lot of white ones. And then Sean was like, ring, ring, ring. And Vesepia was like, oh, I'm getting way too many calls here today. Hey, hello. Hey, this is the black no-no. Oh, how come black no-nos over again? Ain't no fair and respect back from people. I mean, white no-nos is just as bad as black no-nos too. Sean was doing his comedy bit of like black no-nos are being discriminated and all that. I'm like, no, Sean. It's funny, but at the same time, bro, it's funny. That's all I gotta say. It's funny. Um, but anyway, that's it for the morning show. Thank you for tuning in on SM Survivor Marquesas. Um, Sooner after that, though, a boat came in. Jeff was on it, along with some logs of bamboo. And Jeff was there to inform the castaways that for the next reward challenge, they would have to build a sturdy raft that's able to carry all 6 tribe members, while also being big enough to carry some items that they'll have to pick up along the way. So they could use the bamboo that they brought along with many other items that they have at their camp. So they get the building. Everybody is hard at work trying to get the raft going, and Hunter's like taking charge of things, and then Sean once again was poking at Hunter due to his overconfidence and trying to be the leader of the tribe, and he's just feeling like Hank he's just too much for him. Meanwhile, Hunter's over there trying to get the raft going, and Sean he's trying to do what little work he can without like overexerting himself, and Hunter takes notice of that, and he's like, I feel like Sean is not being very serious about this, and I don't know, this tribe would be so much better if we didn't have lazy people on it. I don't care or what background you're coming from. If you're being lazy, then you're just getting in the way. And while building the raft, Boston Rob notices his way Hunter's directing people and telling him how it should be built, and openly admits that Rob is like Hunter. Him and Hunter are very similar, but he's not showing it, because if he did, he would be really annoyed by other people. Not him being annoyed by other people, but they would be annoyed of him if he were to act similar like Hunter. So that's why he's been able to dial it down a little bit, and then let Hunter do all the work for him, and then eventually, if the time comes when Hunter would be at the risk of going home, he would start cashing in Hunter's complaints and have him be gone before he does. This is where we start seeing how good of a game player Boston Rob is. He's very sneaky, and he's very well, maybe a little conniving, but he's really thinking a lot of steps ahead before a lot of people will really think about it. And the way Boston Rob was thinking about the situation before getting on the beach, at first we saw him as a little bit of a worker, and start showing his East Coast start showing his worker and construction worker side, and helping out with the tribe. And he's from Boston, he's got to talk like a Boston person, and then then we start seeing the side of him where, oh no, look at this, Boston Rob is a lot more than just a guy from Boston. He is somebody who really thinks about this game a lot, and he's thinking about what moves and who he can align himself with in order to get everything working well for him. And when he sees that he's a little bit someone like Hunter, and he's gonna dial it down just so a lot more people could get their sights on Hunter and how the way he's acting, and less on him. That really shows how well of a good game player Boston Rob is, and how he can read the room on the situation and just know when to bring it all back and to show less of who he really is. Less is more. The less they see of you and who you really are, the more your whole game will be more advanced and possibly have a better chance of winning. You know, that's a good strategy. Over on row 2, they got their supplies in building the raft, and as they were dragging the bamboo up to their camp, one of the bamboo hit Robert the general, hits his foot, and it wasn't actually the bamboo that did anything. There was a rock that actually got inside Robert's shoe, and it actually cut his toe. Not too bad where it needs like major surgery, but you know, it definitely, he got really cut. And being a registered nurse, John did what he can to like clean the wound and got it bandaged properly so that Rob could be able to get around a lot more easier now. But yeah, that was it wasn't too major though. And as much as Rob could like tough it out and, you know, deal with the pain, and you know, it's not really that major. So anyway, with the leadership of Gabriel, all of row 2 were able to build this really nice constructed raft under Gabriel's supervision. And even Robert, even though he had an injured toe, he still was able to help out and deal with the pain. However, during the building process, though, again, as Kathy and maybe Leah were looking for food along with John, John was looking under some rocks and he got bit by an eel on his other hand. And I'm like, oh, John, this is just not your day, buddy. It's not your day. I'm sorry. So it was, again, what kind of bad luck would you have running into two sea creatures? One being a sea urchin and the other being an eel. Like, how bad is that? I can't help it. It boggles my mind. But anyway, John was able to get that bandaged, and after dealing with that stuff, though, he is worried that his role as the provider might be hindered if he were to like get more weak in the challenges, and it could possibly worsen his position of staying around a lot more longer, which I can get behind. You know, you can't be seen as weak, otherwise as your game will be over just like that. But anyway, let's get into the reward challenge. Now, of course, both tribes have their rafts built. They're ready to get going and ready to get this challenge started. Now, this is a reward challenge. Now, how this challenge works, they're going to take their rafts and go out into the ocean and to where there are 5 boxes or crates out for them, and they'll get the crates going in a zigzag formation. Once they have all their crates with them, they have to paddle their boats back, their rafts back to the start of the challenge, and the first tribe to get back wins the reward. Now, for this reward, it is a choice between comfort with blankets and pillows, a hammock, and even a lantern, or sustenance with a bag of rice. Now, me personally, I mean, due to like the cold nights that they've been having, I would lean towards more comfort, but a part of me is like, I need to get that food. I need to have that strength build up. So it would conflict in my mind on which one to choose. However, if I had fishing gear on my tribe, and if we were able to get fish, and if we still had fire going, I would say I would get the fire. I would I would choose the comforts over rice, because we have a fishing in gear, so we can get fish and food that way. So I think it would be a lot better to take comforts over the rice. And not because I don't like rice. I mean, that definitely doesn't hinder why I don't want the rice. But anyway, now because Row 2 has more members than Maramu, 2 people had to sit out. In this case, it was Pascal and Nalia. So the challenge starts. They make their way out into the course, and they're rowing in the zigzag formation that they were told to row in while gathering their crates. Now, they constructed their rafts pretty well, because while the 6 people were able to row pretty well in the rafts, they were still able to make enough room on the rafts so that they can get their crates on the rafts and be able to get along easily without having to worry about sinking or losing anything and having to topple overboard. And it was really good. So they looked like they were getting even, and they were pretty well organized with each other. Both tribes were well organized. But as they were racing back, Maramu and Row 2 were trying to get there first before anybody else, and with a lot more quickness added into them, Row 2 once again snatched a win for Maramu, which definitely upset Hunter. Now out of the rewards, rice and comfort, Row 2 chose the comforts to take back with them in the camps, which I could totally understand. After the cold night they've been having, it's definitely worth taking any comforts to keep them warm back to camp. Unfortunately, Maramu, once again, they had to go back with nothing. Got nothing for you. So back in Maramu, it definitely felt like a real low on their camp, as Vesipia felt pretty bummed by the fact that this is the 4th loss in a row that they suffered, and they have to find a way to come back out of this. It's very crucial, and they're starting to feel like that it kind of feels hopeless for their tribe, but at the same time, they just gotta pick themselves up and just keep heading towards the end, and they gotta do it the best way they can. Hunter, however, felt as though that the reason they lost was because these guys don't have a winning attitude. Like, these guys are not quite much into winning as much as I am. Like, they're not focused on winning. Like, if we had a much more winning attitude going into the challenge, then we would be in much better shape and get motivated to win more. But this tribe doesn't, and I'm saying it as he's saying it, this tribe is no way somebody I would take with me camping. Like, this group doesn't know how to survive. They don't know how to live out here on the island, and they don't really care much at all about winning. Like, they think this is a vacation, but it's not. Like, he doesn't want, he felt like being on a tribe with people who don't know how to do this, and if he were to go on a camping trip, this group wouldn't be it. Like, he would take somebody else or another group of people to go camping with. And it's hard. It really is hard to deal with. Okay, let's be real. Depending on who I get stuck with, whether it be like an engineer or somebody who's done a lot of businesses, or somebody who's very smart and calculated. What I would do if I were stuck on a tribe with different people who come from all walks of life, I would secretly, and not act as like a leader or anything, find their strengths, where they can be more useful, and kind of put them in categories or areas where I could see them succeeding at. For somebody who works in engineering, I'd see them as best at as working on the shelter. For somebody who's probably worked in businesses or know how to organize things, I would say go find firewood or find rocks for the camp. For somebody who's pre-calculated and knew how to number things out, and where to properly set up the shelter up at. I would put the mathematician on that, because if we can get ourselves more organized and find the right place on where we would be best situated at, then it could probably be the best way for us to live out there here in that environment. So we don't have to worry about failing every challenge, because we all have our different strengths that are most beneficial to all of us. So it's really crucial to find out what our strengths are and how we channel those strengths going into the camp life and in challenges. I mean, that's my strategy if I were to play the game. So Sean, once again, is kind of bummed about losing again. You know, he wants to win and he really wanted that rice. Like, he was saying from the top of his lungs, he wanted the rice to eat, because he doesn't like what they've been eating at camp. It's mostly been this grapefruit like citrus. There's also been some fish and coconut. Not like fish where like it's like fillets of fish, but more like, I'd say similar to the sea snails that Rotu has been catching. I'd say it's more similar to that, which has been grossing him out. And then of course, Sean has been having episodes where he's been relaxing most of the time and laying in the water and not really helping out in camp much of all. Same with Sarah. And then Hunter's really taking notice of this. You know, he feels like that he's got too many people who are complaining on their tribe. You know, again, he felt like these people were more here to be on vacation, but this isn't a Ritz-Carlton. You know, this is Survivor. If you want to go on vacation, go to Ritz-Carlton, you should have signed up for this show. Like, seriously. You know, it's not business or anything, but at the same time, you gotta play it like it's your business and play like you're here to win. So, I don't know. I would kind of feel the same way towards that if people were acting like that. Well, anyway. So really quick, we start getting into the reward challenge, immunity challenge, where the castaways are informed that they will have to go on a winding path in order to win immunity. Now we're thinking to ourselves, is it a maze like in Australian outback? That'd be interesting. And we soon find that it is a maze, just not the one on a bigger scale. It's much more smaller. So here's how it works. 4 members on each tribe will be controlling this pulley-like system and controlling the maze, making it go up and down on all 4 sides. And there will be 5 of them performing this challenge, one at a time, and there will be one caller directing the 4 tribe members at the pulleys to move the maze and direct a coconut to the hole which is in the center of the maze. Once you get one coconut in, the next person will switch from a pulley to the calling position and get another coconut to land. First tribe to land all 3 coconut heads into the center of their maze wins immunity. Now, Rotu has has been consecutively winning 4 times in a row. Maramu has been losing 4 times in a row. And it seems like the immunity idol for this season has really found a home on row 2. Maramu really needs to get at this win, because if they don't, they risk losing another castaway, and it'll be down 5-8 over it in survivor mark cases. Now, for this challenge, it only requires 5 people performing. So for a row 2, they have to set out 3 people, while Maramu has to set out 1 person. This is the first time Maramu has sit anybody out of the challenge. But it's only for this challenge, though. So anyway, the people... Now, because Pascal and Nalia didn't perform in the last challenge, they had to perform in this challenge. So it can't be Nalia and Pascal sitting out again. So for row 2, they sat out John, Tammy, and Robert, while over on Maramu, it's Gina. So the tribes are at their position, and they're ready to direct the coconut through the maze. First person calling was Rob, I believe. No, wait. The first person who was calling for Maramu was... No, I think it was... Was it Rob? I think it was... Because it was Rob, then... No, wait, Vesepia. I think it was Vesepia that was first. So Vesepia, then Sarah, then Boston Rob. And then for row 2, it was Gabriel, then it was Pascal, and then I think it was Nalia. I could be wrong, but anyway. So the challenge starts. We see the castaways being directed by the caller as they're pulling and like going. I don't know what the opposite of pull is. I mean push, but they're not exactly pushing the rope up, you know? But yeah, they're pulling the rope up and down to try to get the coconut moving throughout the maze. There have been moments where it would go down a dead end, but it would also be moments where the coconut would be going too fast for the tribes to like get into the position that they wanted in the maze. At the moment, row 2 didn't seem like they were getting a good system going. Like, they were kind of miscommunicating. Meanwhile, Maramu was just like on the roll here, no pun intended, with their direction as again in coconut as to the maze. And Maramu scored 1 coconut in. They traded spots, and now new color was up, and they had to get their 2nd coconut in. Soon after, row 2 got their first coconut in, switch out the color, and have to get the next one in the spot. It looked like the tribes were really even now with how they were getting the coconuts to be guided and getting the ropes tugged a certain way just so the coconut to go get the coconut. I'm sorry for all of you who had to listen to me throughout my explanation through this, but it was getting crazy. Like, the coconut was going several different ways with how the ropes were being pulled. It definitely felt like it was definitely going to be an even match between both row 2 and Maramu. But it was down to the last coconut between both of those tribes, and it was getting in the center, and they were both so close. Again, even match, any one of them can win, and you're just sitting there watching, seeing Maramu, win, and the winner was row 2 again. Dadgummit, holy cow! You can't help but roll your eyes at that one. Like, do these guys ever win? Like, seriously. This has been a moment in Survivor history where a tribe has gone to the first 3 tribal councils in a row, and they had to once again vote somebody out. It's crazy. Row 2 once again gets to keep all their members intact, and Nobody goes home from them. But sadly, another person from Maramu will go. Now, at their camps, they're of course talking about who they would want and get rid of. Hunter and Gina were contemplating on getting rid of either Sarah or Sean because they're both seen as lazy and they don't really help a lot in the camp. And Sean has been really getting tired of Hunter and his golden boy status and how he's trying to lead his team even though they've lost like 3 challenges, his immunity challenges and 2 reward challenges in a row. And then Hunter, once again, has been thinking about getting rid of Sean because, he's not really got the serious attitude that everybody should have when going into Survivor. And then he was talking to Rob as Rob was in the ocean swimming. Rob was, at first impressions of Sean, was like, he thought he was just a lazy person, didn't really take things seriously, but as he started getting to know him throughout the game, he definitely likes him now, and he thinks he's a good guy. But Hunter was on the other side of that spectrum now, and he definitely thought about getting rid of him. Rob, of course, was like, let's be real. Rob was definitely trying to control this game. And the moment he heard Hunter talk about Sean's name was like, opportunity struck. So Rob, of course, talks to Sean. And then he says that him and Sean are like calling the shots here. Like, they got their numbers with Sarah, Vesepia, Sean, and Rob. Now, Sean asked Rob if him and Sarah are being like serious or anything. And he's like, no, absolutely not. He's thinking about the game. Like, he's been thinking about the game 100%. He's not getting distracted. And the one thing that gets Rob to like get people to work with him is fear. Fear of losing their game. And if it's fear that entices them to get to do what they want without them realizing that you're getting them to do what they want, then everything can go perfectly well for you. And he references The Godfather, and I'm like, yep, Boston Rob is the godfather of Survivor. He definitely is. So we get to Tribal Council, and during Tribal Council, Jeff asks them how well they've been getting along, and he definitely thought Sarah thought everybody got along very well now. And then Hunter felt as though that they really need to figure out a way to work together and find a way to get out of this losing streak, because it's really hurting each other that they kept losing, and Sean feels the same way, that they hate to lose. So we get to the voting. Now, Hunter, even though he's been saying that Sean should be going home because he's not taking the game seriously as much, he instead votes for Sarah, because it would hinder less of the reason he votes for Sarah is because it would be more likely a chance that a more valuable player would be staying in the game, and if they plan on winning more challenges, then they have to be kept around more than people like Sarah. So the others vote, and then we get to Sean's vote, and Sean votes for Hunter. Now Sean says that Hunter is a really good guy, but this is a game of outwit. So even though he's voting him out, he still hopes that they can keep in touch with each other after this. Sorry. He puts his name in the voting urn. Now the votes are tallied. 2 votes for Sarah, and then 4 votes. Third person voted out Survivor Marquesas, Hunter Ellis. Which, in my mind, is a really confusing vote. I mean, it's one thing where you're trying to be, like a pretty bossy leader, but at the same time, you still need tribe strength. And getting rid of somebody like Hunter, who's probably one of your most physical players out there, is a big risk and a big gamble in this game. And that can almost guarantee that you would lose more challenges. But they voted the way they did, so they gotta deal with what comes ahead in the future for them. So we get to the after confessionals where Hunter was like, they made a really bad mistake, and it was a little confusing, but they got him. He's gonna feel sad for leaving them, and he's gonna make sure to tell the Red Cross to come and get him when they die of starvation, and that they're probably gonna be sad that he got rid of him. And he wished Gina the best of luck. And I'm not sure if Hunter was being petty at that moment or being or complaining, but Hunter definitely felt like he got ousted, and it was unfair because the tribe needed him. Or I don't know if it was overconfidence, but Hunter definitely felt like it was unfair for him to go that early on, especially when the tribe needed all the strength they can get going to the challenges. But you know what? I heard Hunter is doing well now. Hunter is a TV host now. He's done on acting. He's done on producing work. He's actually done a commercial. Well, if I'm not mistaken, he did a commercial for the atomic beam, which is a flashlight, and it's actually a really cool commercial. Well, here it is.
The atomic bomb is one of the most powerful forces on Earth. The atomic beam is one of the most powerful flashlights on Earth. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis, and this is Atomic Beam USA, the ultra-bright, tough-grade flashlight that features tactical technology used by U.S. Special Forces. This flashlight has a feeble 125 lux output. The Atomic Beam USA has up to 5,000 lux. That's 40 times more. It's tough enough to withstand this 36-ton fire truck, yet it's lightweight, compact, and portable enough for everyday use. Heavy downpours, mud puddles, even extreme temperatures like boiling hot oil or being frozen solid in a block of ice are no match.
If the power goes out, the atomic beam can light up the entire room. I've never seen a flashlight this bright before.
The light is so bright, it just makes you feel safe no matter where you go with it.
In case of emergency, it has an SOS setting, and its strobe feature makes it a powerful self-defense tool. Disorient attackers and protect yourself with the Atomic Beam USA. It's compact, lightweight, take it anywhere you know you're gonna need it. We're gonna drop it hundreds of feet from this helicopter. It hits the tarmac and it's still working. That's what I call a tough flashlight. You could spend over $100, or the Atomic Beam USA can be yours for just $19.99. You'll also get a lifetime guarantee. If it ever breaks, for any reason, you get your money back. And if you order now, you can double it and get a second Atomic Beam USA. Just pay a separate fee, and we'll even ship them to you for free. And the critical components inside the Atomic Beam are made right here in the USA. Atomic Beam USA with free shipping. Here's how you can get yours.
And aside from that, Hunter has gone on to have a wife and a family of his own, so you might have not done well on Survivor, Hunter, but you definitely done well in life, I'll tell you that much. Now, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this. Now we're down 5 Maramu and 8 Row 2 members. It's going to be a crazy game. It really is. You're thinking to yourselves, can Maramu fight back? Especially now that they're down in lesser numbers. If not, you might as well just give this whole season up to Row 2 and just make it all about them. Call it Survivor Row 2 at this point, not Survivor Rome. I'm referring to the current season that's being on right now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this season. That footage that I just showed you guys about Hunter's commercial, I'm kind of testing right now to see if I can add clips into my video without getting copyrighted, and hopefully this works. And what I have planned for next week's episode, hopefully it'll work out for me in the future, and hopefully it can stay like this for the rest of my podcast episodes. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed being outsmarted, outclassed, and outspoken with the Survivor Savant podcast. This is Nathan Newport, signing out.